So, Meg,
Yeah.
a guy walks into a psychiatrist wearing nothing but saran wrap. The psychiatrist says, I can clearly see your nuts.
Okay, that's a good one.
That was from Rupert.
Of course it was.
I know. It's a good one.
I like it. I like it.
That's
a good one.
Yeah.
So today's episode is supposed to be Dyatlov Pass
Part 2.
Part 2, but it's not.
We decided to do this one instead. We had a little bit of a schedule change, and we just decided this is what's happening this week. But Dyatlov,
Because we can.
because it's our podcast. Duh.
Yeah.
But Dyatlov 2, which is basically all of the theories on what it could have been.
Right. It's the Yeti incident.
The Yeti incident. So if you haven't listened to it, you should go listen to it.
Listen to part 1, obviously.
It was
part 2 has not come out yet.
No, yeah, but go listen to part 1. It's a solid, very interesting.
It is very interesting. But next week will be part 2 when
Yep.
we discuss all the theories and what could it have been. And I mean, it was definitely a Yeti, but
I mean, I was re-listening to it, and I was coming up with new things in my head as I was listening to it, even though we have already finished recording and did all the theories we thought. I was going through it and being like,
well, if
I
that
never thought of
with,
it this way.
If that happens with anybody, I want to hear those theories.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know what they are.
Yeah, if you have theories before you hear the part 2, you can let us know.
Yeah.
Anyways, but so we're excited. This is a good one, guys.
We had so much fun. I mean, that's why we made the schedule change, because we just wanted to get it out there to you guys, because it was so good.
So hang on to your butts, as Meg says.
Hang on to your butts. It's going to be a good episode.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Lunatic Soup, the podcast where we go into all things wild, weird, and unknown. We're your host, Meg.
And I'm Raina, ready to brew up some lunatic soup.
Let's go. What are we drinking today? Ooh.
This is a Ciders.
It's a Ciders cider.
Exciting cider. This is Bellingham cider, which is up in our neck of the woods in Washington. Bellingham is up north near Canada. Mm-hmm. And
we got this from a little local place that we've decided is our new hangout.
Yes, it's called Valley Social Wine Bar in Sumner, Washington.
So good.
It is the cutest wine bar ever. I met them through doing the cocktail book I did for the city of Sumner, and the nicest. It's best friends who own it, which is
see,
how good is that?
Friends can do things together.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just adorable. The two best friends own it together. They're so nice. We went in there and we had their raspberry rhubarb prosecco float.
Oh my goodness.
If you follow us on the socials, you would have seen a few weeks ago we were there, and it was literally a scoop of gelato that they get brought in.
Raspberry rhubarb gelato.
Yeah, it's strawberry rhubarb gelato, and then with prosecco poured over the top.
It was so good.
Did we have 2?
There's no way to know.
Did I go back the next day and have 2 more?
Probably.
I sure did.
Yeah.
It was delightful. We went down there specifically for this cider because we saw it on their Instagram, and I don't think they normally sell it by the can, but they were kind enough because
kind to us.
I'm just saying I know people, so
And Sumner, Washington is the rhubarb capital
of the United States of
Yeah.
America, maybe the world. It might be the world. I don't know. I didn't know this. I made them a whole cocktail book rhubarb based and had no idea the whole time.
This is raspberry rhubarb.
It's raspberry rhubarb. R&R. That used to be the name of my family's.
R&R.
No, R&R. That used to be the name of my family's construction company, R&R Construction.
That's fitting and foretelling and all sorts.
Ray and Robin, R&R.
Oh, it's so cute.
Or raspberry rhubarb in this.
I like
in
raspberry
this.
rhubarb.
And this is, we've already had this, but we tasted
It's
it.
so good.
It was a whole week ago.
This is we one of our last episodes we tried a new one and it was a 10 out of 10, but I already know this one's a 10 out of 10.
We had it.
And they're not all winners, guys. They're not all winners.
Sometimes they smell like gym socks.
They do, and sometimes they just taste nasty.
And we are always polite about it, but sometimes afterwards we're like, the fuck, we're not drinking that again.
if we aren't raving, then we don't
Then
like
we know.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But this, so good.
This is locally owned, solar powered, no sulfites, gluten free, and vegan. Also, I have a bone to pick about vegan because you cannot call anything that is picked vegan because
Are there buggies in it?
Everything. How they get, it's there's no such thing as vegan wine.
No,
there's not. There's literally
because
and
there's
the same
bugs
with
in everything.
Well, not just bugs, but they shake the trees. They shake everything to get it out. So with the grapes, it's the same thing. You get snakes, mice, whatever, and it all goes in.
It's like a hot dog.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hot dog. If I'm sorry for ruining anybody's anything. So if you call a wine vegan, there's literally no way unless they go in and pick every single thing out, which I guarantee you they do not.
It depends on.
Ready? 1, 2.
And the color.
I know, it's
You
pretty.
know how I am about the color of our ciders.
I mean, it's very rhubarb, rosé, beautifulness. A
it's
raspberry.
so pretty. Okay. It's got, we talked about this at the restaurant. It's got that homemade taste.
It's
You would
really
think
good.
with raspberry it would, but rhubarb's not a very sweet flavor. You add sweetness to it.
1,000%. Rhubarb itself stinks.
And it
did I
doesn't
say this?
taste-
It's-
yeah, it
no,
doesn't
it's
taste good
not-
on its own either.
Not a fan, which I don't understand then why people use it for so many things.
Because it's what you have and you use it.
But why?
I don't know. Back in the olden days, you didn't. I don't know,
I'm no
Raina.
longer in the olden days.
Well, you know what? You just eat some tradition. Tradition.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. But anyways, raspberry rhubarb, 20 out of 10 from Bellingham cider.
So today we are talking about the Bell Witch.
The Bell bitch.
Yeah, okay.
Is she not? Don't
No.
don't blaspheme her name.
No, you can blaspheme. I think she would want you to blaspheme it.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard of the Bell Witch?
Only from you say. I've heard you say it. Then I think I've seen like a TikTok about her maybe, but like so not really.
This is fascinating, and it goes so much more in depth than I could have ever possibly imagined. Bell Witch, or the Bell Witch haunting, is a southern United States legend from the 19th century centering around the Bell family.
Okay.
It's in the South, man.
You had me at Southern accent.
I mean, why not?
I love it.
This story is unique because there are probably hundreds of witnesses to this haunting.
Okay.
A farmer named John Bell and his family resided along the Red River near a town currently known as Adams. This is in the northwest part of Tennessee in Robertson County.
Okay.
Do we have any listeners from Tennessee?
I think we do.
Do we?
I don't know.
I don't know. We should look at our little thingy-majig.
We should.
John Bell was a very high regarded member of the community. He was said to be a generous and hardworking man and a, quote, good Christian man.
A good Christian man.
Usually that means they're not.
Yeah, that usually is what that means.
The legend goes that from 1817 to 1821, the Bell family and the local area came under attack from an invisible entity that could speak, change the physical environment, and possibly even shapeshift.
Jesus.
Some stories say that the entity was clairvoyant and able to communicate telepathically, and that the entity could also travel through space and be in two places at the same time,
Wow.
or go back and forth. Like there's stories of it hopping the pond and then coming back and reporting on things that were checked out later.
Okay. Hopping the pond is in like.
London.
You sound like you're from
London.
Damn. Okay, I mean, I guess if you're a spirit entity, that's nothing.
You do you. Yeah.
You can just pop down wherever you feel like. Okay.
So a lot of this information comes from an authenticated history of the Bell Witch from M.V. Ingram.
Okay.
And it is told of the story of a poltergeist named Kate. This is because the entity liked the name Old Kate Bat's Witch.
Oh.
And we'll go, because Kate is a real person. So we'll go into that. After they started to refer to the entity as Kate, it seemed to like it, so they
stuck
continued.
with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kate Batts was a grouchy neighbor, always starts with one of those. And it was a neighbor of the Bell family. And it was believed that John Bell cheated Kate out of a land purchase. No one quite knows for sure, but they're thinking that that's where this rift started. So who was Kate Batts? Paint a picture. I get some Hannah Karana vibes from this.
She grumpy old witch.
A little bitty.
A grumpy old bitty.
Kate lived near Adams, Tennessee with her husband, Frederick, and they had a small farm and raised 5 children. Her husband had a tree fall on him
Oh dear.
and paralyzed him from the waist down.
That's not good.
So this was farmland.
Yeah.
And she was a woman with 5 children.
Oh,
she
dear.
really didn't have a choice but to take over everything. Because if her husband couldn't do it, who else was
Yeah,
going
she
to?
had
Until her
to.
children came,
We're
grew
old
bigger.
enough. And I'm sure they did plenty of shit that
Right.
they had to help her, but yeah.
But Kate, she took it on, right?
Good
I mean,
for
you
her.
got to give that to
I mean,
her.
you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a lot of people would have just not, but she wasn't that person. She was said to be a fiery redhead and a, quote, large eccentric woman. She was rough and tough, man.
I love a feisty
Rough
redhead.
and tough. She was very hungry for attention.
Oh dear.
She made a scene wherever she went.
She was an angry elf.
She was an call me elf.
One more time.
She was known for confronting people, arguing, and loudly addressing those around her.
Okay.
We know a couple people like that, right?
Yeah. More or less.
I mean,
Not like super.
not like bad. But
Yeah.
like, you
I
know.
mean, in general.
Yeah.
I think we'd call it a Karen nowadays.
Oh, yeah. It'd be a Karen. Yeah.
I would say.
There was some rumor that she was a witch. I mean, get in line at this time period.
Okay.
Any woman who was, out of the ordinary was considered a witch, right?
Yeah.
Kate and Frederick were neighbors with the Bell family. And while John was a very prominent member of the community, he did have someone who didn't like him. And that was Kate Batts.
Oh, dear. Mm-hmm. No.
So, like I said, she was a large woman, but not in like she wasn't super tall or she wasn't like fat or anything. She was just extremely muscular.
Oh.
One report portrays Kate's arms as being, quote, as thick as a young man's thighs. We got some really good descriptions and quotes in this episode.
Was she out there lifting logs?
It must have been the log. She lifted
The
that
logs
tree.
she was using them as the pump it up.
Pump it
Pump it
up.
up. Damn.
I think we went two different songs there, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
where were you going?
Pump it up.
No. What was I doing? Pump it up.
Oh,
Pump,
yeah.
pump. Yeah, two different things.
Yeah.
Well, that happens to us a lot.
Yes.
Same thought.
We are two different people in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
That's what makes it work.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay, good.
I'm having fun. Are you?
But we're enough alike though. We have enough in common to be friends.
That's true.
Well, obviously.
Obvious.
Okay. Anyways, back to Kate and her big arms.
Kate was very grumpy.
Oh, shoot.
And after having to take over everything, she got grumpier. I relate. Kate always argued specifically with men, and she constantly accused them of trying to screw her out of property. I get it. At that time period, when you're a woman trying to run property,
I want to say Kate would be me, who just did not tolerate men's bullshit or their misogynistic shit. There were those
she
people.
was a woman ahead of her time.
1,000%. And she so maybe that makes me sad for her if she was labeled that grumpy. She was obviously a hard worker. She had muscles like that. That bitch is getting shit done. She's not sitting there kneading bread. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but respectfully. I mean, that is a lot of work.
It is.
It is a lot of work. But she's not there folding laundry all day.
Right.
She probably had to do that plus everything else on her farm.
Lifting logs.
Yeah, and owning a farm or a lot of property is a lot of work.
Horses.
And 5 kids.
Five kids.
I would be an angry elf too if my husband left me where I was changing his diapers and then he's paralyzed from the waist down, I'm assuming.
But to be fair, he didn't leave her. He had a tree fall on him.
Yeah, but what if it was because he cut it the wrong way, being a dumbass, resentful? I would be. I would be.
Yeah.
Just saying, she sounds like she was a
badass. Kate was accused of being a witch because she wasn't very kind, but she didn't do herself any favors either. She engaged in what was known as witchy behavior.
What is that?
Again, kind of like us.
Oh dear.
Actually, I've never done this. Every woman who she met, she would ask for a brass pin. And according to folk belief at the time, that was a way to gain control over the owner of the pin. So she would do little things like that, make it known that she was casting spells and things like that.
Well, if you want to fuck shit up.
There was an incident that apparently proved that she was a witch. One thing back then was that a witch would spoil farmers' butter. Now, we've never talked about that.
Okay.
But we've talked about them spoiling beer. Remember, we've talked about that in past episodes.
I don't know that I remember that, but that is offensive.
Very offensive.
We don't spoil beer.
We don't spoil
or
beer.
Butter.
Or butter.
Butter. Everything's better with butter.
Everything's better with a little bit of salt on that.
Oh, my
Mix in some
God.
chives.
That's
we had
my
truffle.
compound.
We had truffle butter last
down
week.
at Valley Social, where we got this good old cider from. We did a butter board, which I also have in my cocktail book. Remember, I did that butter board. They had fresh, different flavors of butter, and it was like an apricot butter,
Oh, the apricot butter. Yeah.
a cracked pepper butter, a truffle butter.
Oh, truffle.
Oh,
Anything.
it was so
I
good.
need to go buy truffle powder from the Costco. So a girl around Kate was trying to churn butter, and after churning for 2 hours, it wasn't turning into butter. And so she decided that this was due to old Kate.
Oh, dear.
And she was going to prove it. So she took a fire poker and put it in the fire to get it hot, and then plunged it into the butter, or to the cream, and curdled the milk that was in there, right? The milk, not cream, whatever.
Yeah, milk. Well,
milk,
it's milk cream. It's all the same. It's how it separates.
So she made some sort of excuse and went to visit old Kate. When she got there, she found that Kate was nursing a burnt hand and claimed that she had grabbed the wrong end of the fire poker.
Ruh-roh.
Now, remember that Kate said John Bell cheated her out of land, right?
Yes.
Kate publicly shamed him for 5 years, and she wouldn't give up. Eventually, after all of the Bell Witch incident, it was proven that John did cheat her out of land, and he was excommunicated from his church for, quote, coveting his neighbor's land, which was very bad at the time. And he was actually excommunicated.
I mean, also, like, he gaslit the shit out of that lady and made her feel like she's insane.
And come on.
I mean, no wonder she's so fucking grumpy. Like, people are fucking with you like that? No,
it's I mean, any decent person, if either a husband or a wife gets incapacitated in any way, the community should step up.
1,000%.
She was gaslit, and he didn't help her at all, which, if you're a neighbor especially, you help your neighbors, right?
Well, you hope so.
You hope so.
But I don't know. I think we both have dealt with some crazy neighbors, so you never know.
That's true.
That's
So back to before the haunting, Kate and John bickered like nothing else. And they had open conflict in their church, open conflict around town. And the conflict that happened at the church may have not been a big deal, but because it's where this whole saga started, because the haunting started soon after, some say that maybe Kate was behind everything.
ruh-roh.
So Kate never missed a day of church, but she was often very late, and she was said to be the loudest in the church. So she was the loudest one shouting amen.
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 Sweet baby Jesus.
Little baby Jesus.
Little baby Jesus
in your little golden throne with your golden dapper.
Name the movie. Talladega Nights.
Yeah. Rick Bobby.
Rick Bobby.
Got real nice. I got it at Target.
That's when you can quote more than me. I don't know all the quotes.
Yeah,
but
I can quote that
but
one.
I know what it's from. That's like one of those a second. Sweet baby Jesus. You're a little baby manger.
During one of these services, it was getting pretty heated. We're in the South. We're at a Christian service.
A lot's going on.
It was a service about repentance, and one of the parishioners was very moved, and he burst out of his seat and started rolling around on the ground, repenting. Okay. I'm not making fun of it. It's just what happens next is absolutely hilarious.
We're not making fun of it, but we're going to laugh about it.
But I'm going to laugh. So the congregation took this as an opportunity and fell to the ground around him. Everybody's praying. The man in the middle is asking for forgiveness.
Thanks.
Everyone's around him praying and shouting, and a lot of amens and hallelujah and all that
all the
stuff.
things.
Kate was late.
God damn it, Kate.
As she does. And she entered the church. No idea what's going on. She just entered the church. She sees the scene, the man in the middle, a circle around him, everybody shouting the hallelujahs and praise the Lord and all that stuff. She breaks the circle.
Oh, dear.
She strolled into the center of that circle. It was said that she flipped her skirt up over her shoulder.
Oh, dear.
Plopped her ass right on that man and sat there. And started speaking in tongues louder than everybody else in that church.
Was she trying to, like, unpossess him or something?
The man, of course, was stunned.
Oh, the man was too stunned to speak.
He snapped out of his repentant state pretty quickly. And he was quoted saying, "Lord, save me, sweet Jesus, lift Satan off me, or I will surely sink down into eternal torment."
I'm going to need you to say that one more time for me.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
"Lord, save me, sweet Jesus, lift Satan off me, or I will surely sink down into eternal torment." Kate refused to get off of him.
Oh, God damn it. You're not doing yourself any favors.
She was told by parishioners that she was suffocating the man, and she was quoted saying, Let him suffocate, preacher. I am helping him get closer to the Lord.
I love this woman. I really do. I'm helping him get closer to the Lord.
I'm helping him get closer to the Lord.
How is there not a movie about this lady?
Maybe we should make one. It's our
We
calling.
should. Oh, dear God.
So some of the parishioners started leaving at this point, not because they didn't want to leave church, because they were laughing so loud that they had to
okay. I'm helping him get closer to the Lord.
the
Suffocation.
the man that she was sitting on started calling her a witch. He's like, "Get off of me, you witch." And Kate didn't deny this. She cursed the man by saying, "Witch am I? Then let me offer you a witch's affection. You may have your land and riches, but just wait and see what sad changes shall soon descend upon you, and more than you, upon the bells."
Oh, I was about to ask. So he's not a bell.
He's not a bell.
Okay.
He was just a man trying to repent to the Lord.
And he got sat on by a woman, by dear old Kate.
And she was a very muscular woman.
Very muscular, but
So-
not. They said she wasn't fat, just muscular. So
I said she was about 200 pounds, which,
okay.
what's that?
Well, that depends on your height too. Like you could 5 foot person, 200 pounds, they're going to be larger.
But
You're
she was muscle.
5'7". That's that could be very normal size.
She was muscular.
She squashed him like a mashed potato. Why do you got to do this to me, Meg?
There were so many things when I was writing this. Like, am I reading that correctly?
Oh my God, that is like the best thing that I ever did here. Bringing him closer to the Lord.
So there are some sources that say this didn't happen exactly as it is written.
I don't give a fuck about them sources. Is the best thing I ever heard in my life.
It said that there was kind of a build-up later on to kind of create this image of Kate, but either way, it makes one hell of a story.
I mean, I'm
We're gonna go with it.
We're gonna go with that. History can be changed. I like this version
like
of
this
history.
one.
I like
Yep.
this woman, and I like that she was like, "Shut the fuck up! I'm gonna get you closer to Jesus.
Squat right on you.
You're gonna sit right down, throw my skirt up. I'm gonna sit right on top of you, bring you closer to the Lord."
So John Bell had a youngest daughter named Betsy. And these are the two people that the haunting really affected.
Poor Betsy, heaven to Betsy.
So the spirit really took a liking to her and the patriarch of the household. By liking, I mean
They didn't like him. They fucked with him.
targeted.
Yeah.
Targeted.
Wait, so this is where I'm confused. So Kate's not the ghost.
So
She cursed.
she cursed.
She cursed the man she sat upon.
She cursed the man she sat upon, and now they're because
And
Kate
the
is
Bell
alive.
family.
Kate is alive.
She's alive
through
and well.
All of this.
Got it.
But they started referring to the spirit, the entity, the witch, as old Kate's witch.
Okay. Even though
So-
she's alive and kicking.
She's alive and kicking. This was to give a little bit of overview on who Kate was and how much she disliked the people around her. And then they blamed it on her.
She gives me the vibes of from the movie Titanic, the unsinkable
Molly Brown. Yeah, I can
Like
see
when
that.
you were explaining her, that's what I got the
Had a
vibes. Like
picture.
she was just loud, a little obnoxious.
Didn't give a fuck what anybody thinks of her.
I feel like I relate to all of those things. That is me. Hi. And my hair is currently red. Weird.
Weird.
Oh dear. It's current. It's a phase. But I feel like she was
great.
except for the grace. But no, that was when you're describing her to me, that was like where my head went,
Where
was
she
like
went.
the unsinkable Molly Brown. Like she's just this like tough woman.
Tough bitty.
And she's loud as fuck. We cannot help it. Our voices project out of our bodies how they do. I can't help it. But yeah, and doesn't give a fuck. She's not standing down to no man.
No, she is not. More power to her.
I respect it.
In 1817, John Bell started to see some pretty interesting things. And this was after the big whatever in church with...
After she brought someone closer to Jesus.
Well, that, and then John and her got into an argument at church. And they're saying that that's kind of what started this, because she had already been going around town, like, cursing people.
And she'd point her finger and be like...
May you have chicken pox!
Like, it's from Akatar 2 when, like, Nesta...
Oh, yeah.
She, like, points at the king and just, like...
I was thinking
practical magic. Chicken pox. And they're like,
So 1817, John Bell saw an apparition of a creature he described as a dog with the head of a rabbit. He tried to shoot it, obviously.
Duh.
And it disappeared into thin air.
okay.
His son was out with him in the woods and saw a bird sitting on a fence, but he said it was extraordinary in size. Some relate it to like a thunderbird, like that.
Oh,
big.
like a big.
like can lift a whale bird. Betsy, around the same time period, said she would see a girl in a green dress swinging from a limb of an oak tree. And this apparition of a girl in a green dress was reported numerous times around the Bell farm. Now, did you know that the color green was associated with the devil?
No.
You think, what color do you think of?
Red.
Right. And green used to be the color associated with the devil or like fairies or gremlins, little things that would carry you off.
That's funny. I could see fairies, obviously, and gremlins I could see, but like not, dang, well.
So green was supposed to be the color of the devil's hag, and that didn't change until the early 20th century when red started being associated with the devil. But think of like in ancient paganism, you've heard of the Green Man.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, I think it's also just funny how history changes things. Or like, who decided that?
Well, like when we talked about leprechauns, that all changed. Like the colors went from green to red.
Yeah, no, you're right. They did.
And it was based on basically authors at the time writing about folklore and stories.
But I feel like there's something deeper. I feel like
dun.
government cover up. That's where I'm going. Or church.
One and the same.
Depending.
So all of these things were mild, and possibly not related. But when you put everything together and when you know what's coming, they kind of all...
Okay.
It kind of is leading up to something's happening. So Dean, who was a slave on the Bell family farm, all the people we're talking about, unfortunately, had slaves at the time.
Yeah.
And he said that he would have a large black doll follow him around at night with glowing eyes.
I don't like that at all.
I mean, it could be Hecate. She has the dogs. But I don't think they're talking about Hecate at the time.
Don't think they're talking about Hecate. Like that, you're talking about the like god,
the goddess,
yeah, Hecate. Yeah, no, I don't feel
There's
like that's
1,000 different ways to say that. So whatever.
Hecate. I know it as Hecate too.
That's how I've always said it.
Yeah, but no, I feel like that's I don't like it.
John. Oh, where did I go? The strangeness continued into the Bell house, and as they were inside their home, knocking started to be heard on the walls and the front door. John assumed that Kate was sending her slaves over to the Bell house to taunt them, and he would run out trying to catch them, and he would see glowing red eyes and nobody there. So he was never able to find anybody. When the family would be asleep at night, they would hear what they described as gnawing on their bedpost.
I don't feel like that's what gnawing is. Like
that was a terrifying sound.
It's my twofers. That's what gnawing is, isn't it? Sounds like a growl.
Like that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't have some wood. I'm not a beaver.
We're not going to get hired as Foley artists anytime soon.
No, we're not. 20 out of 10.
That'd be
not.
a really fun job, though.
It would be.
Holy
I follow
crap.
someone on TikTok who does it, and it's like very cool.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
I would like that. The children would become scared when their sheets would be pulled above their heads by something unseen. They would just kind of have their sheet pulled above their heads and pinned down. That would be terrifying.
I would be afraid too.
That would be terrifying.
I'm not gonna lie.
So the hauntings started becoming more physical when the children reported that their hair would be pulled or skin would be scratched by something invisible.
Yeah, I could see that.
It seemed to target Betsy the most, and she said that she was slapped, pinched, and stuck with pins on a regular basis. She once had her hair yanked so hard that it pulled her out of bed. And this happened multiple times, and she found that if she resisted the attacks, she would get slapped harder in the face, so she just started to let it happen. So the family didn't know what to do, so they started to ask for help. So a detective known only as Mr. Williams, came from Baltimore to Tennessee to try and solve the mystery of what was happening. And he came with the intention of the Bell family being frauds. He didn't believe in the supernatural. He thought it was all bullshit, and he was there to prove them wrong. He was welcomed in and offered a place to stay. The first night was pretty quiet. He only heard some scratches and knocks, and this furthered his idea that it was a prank by the family.
Got it.
Because we've heard this before.
What are the twins or the
sisters? The Fox sisters?
Yes, Fox sisters. Yes.
The second night, Mr. Williams went to sleep and was soon woken up by something forcing his chest down on the bed and pinning his arms up against his head.
That'll make you a believer real fast.
During this, his face was repeatedly punched.
Also,
And then he heard, "So, Mr. Detective, which of the bells do you think is on top of you right now?" The family heard this commotion and came in, but saw Mr. Williams just sitting there in his bed with a horrified look on his face.
As you would.
The voice then said, with everybody present, "Don't go blaming them. Go sit in that chair now." So Mr. Williams got up. He sat in the chair in the room, and he stayed up all night as the witch taunted him.
I'd get the fuck out of that house is what I would do.
He left as soon as he could in the morning.
Okay.
A friend by the name of James came and stayed at the house, and the Bells were hoping that he could maybe help them. And during the night when he was staying with the Bells, James was woken up by what he called a, quote, spirit just like in the Bible.
I don't know.
Now, Betsy at this point was about 14 or 15 years old, and she was seeing a boy who was 18 named Joshua. That's, I mean, for the time frame, that's...
What year was this again?
Like 1820.
1820s? Okay.
The school teacher was named Richard, and he was in his early 30s, and he decided he liked Betsy.
Oh, dear. His name was Dick.
Yeah, it was. So one day the school teacher was walking down the road, and he was smacked upside the head by an invisible hand and told, quote, "Betsy and Joshua will soon announce their engagement. You must act now before it happens." The school teacher replied, "But why would I do that?" And the entity said, "Because you love Betsy Bell." Ugh.
I don't like that.
I don't like it. I mean, different time, but still.
But also, like,
School teacher, old.
how old?
She was 14 or 15, and he was like in his early 30s, like 32,
Yeah,
33.
no, that,
Gross.
But also, like, the ghosties telling him to do it, supposedly.
Well, this is said, we're going to get more into why maybe
Okay.
the ghost was doing this. Spirit, entity, witch, whatever you want to call it.
I'm not going to go for witch. I don't like it.
That's what they're calling it.
Rude.
The witch hated Betsy. And it was thought that she knew Betsy would have been happy with Joshua, so she got involved in her life to try to push her towards Richard. Time passed, and the town was at the Bell property for a gathering. Joshua, the 18-year-old, stood up and clanked his glass like he was about to make an announcement. And before Joshua could say anything, the witch interrupted, and everybody heard it. Everybody could hear this seemingly invisible voice.
Okay.
Right? No, they didn't know where it came from. And it said, "Please don't marry him, Betsy. If you do, I will follow you wherever you go. Don't marry Joshua Gardner." So news was spreading pretty quickly throughout the area that there was a witch. At this point, the witch was focused on the emotional life of Betsy, but was physically going after John, the father.
Yeah.
John was being physically punched in the mouth, and he began experiencing strange sensations in his mouth, like it was becoming paralyzed. There was times where it would just be for like a short amount of time, like minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes. But then he could hide it at that point. But then it started being like 10, 12 hours where his tongue wouldn't work. It would be like seized up in his mouth.
Interesting.
And he would have this paralysis in his face, and it would last hours, so he couldn't hide it anymore. He said that sometimes it felt like there was a double-pointed stick or knife sitting sideways in his mouth, piercing him, and he began to have a fungus grow on the back of his throat.
I don't know what to say.
Isn't that great? It's not great. One night, the Bells were having a family gathering, and the witch presented herself by whispering throughout the room for all to hear. Right?
Again, don't like.
Yeah.
Run.
So one of the sons got fed up, and he started shouting, "You are nothing but a demon from the depths of hell, here to humiliate our family and torture our father and dear Elizabeth." Then Betsy. Then he proceeded to call the witch a coward. The whispers stopped, and they went back to normal. That's just how life was for them at this point in time. They were kind of accepting this. Then they heard Betsy screaming from her bedroom, so they ran in and found her in the room crying hysterically, saying a burning entity came into her room and sat on the edge of her bed. The son began to argue back and forth with the witch. The witch was arguing with him. Like, they were going back and forth. He was telling it to go back to hell. The witch was clapping back, saying, "I'm not going to hell."
Hell no. I'm not going back.
No. And after a while, it seemed the witch got bored and left for the evening.
Okay.
People started asking questions to the witch. Like, at this point, the town knew this was a thing.
Like, everyone knew it was
Everyone knew, and people were coming to the house. People were coming to the house because they knew they could talk to this entity that would just talk back to them.
I don't like any of this.
And so the witch
Is this going to be one of those at the end you say, but...
I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but no, this is not one of those specifically.
You better not lure me in, Megan.
I do it really well.
I hate you so much.
Someone asked, "Who are you and what do you want?" And the voice answered, "I am a spirit. I was once happy but have been disturbed." The witch admitted that it was Kate's Bat's witch. And then when pressed to prove it, the witch responded, "I am tired of lying. I am old Kate's Bat's witch for certain. And it was she who danced around the pentagram and beckoned me here." So this entity is saying, and I think it's using the term witch because that's what was understood at the time.
Right.
And it's saying that Kate beckoned her, summoned her, if you will.
If you will.
If you will.
She was bringing the man closer to Jesus.
When asked why Kate summoned a witch, it responded, "Why? To torment John Bell, to torment him to his death." Dun, dun, dun. After this, the witch answered to the name Old Kate.
Okay.
In an effort to prove that this entity was indeed supernatural, the Bell family noted that there were 2 different sermons being told 13 miles apart. And they had the speakers come to the home and asked old Kate, what were the sermons about? The witch then repeated each sermon word for word, proving that it could be in 2 places at once. The entity also thought that it was funny to spread gossip about what was going on in the households at the time. So it would pop into different people's houses and get what's going on and then come back and gossip to the Bell family.
It was the ghost of Lady Whistledown.
Oh, is that from...
you don't watch Bridgerton?
No, I don't. Sorry.
You really don't?
No.
I feel like you should.
I probably should.
It's good.
I watched the Sherry Papini documentary.
No, not a documentary. This is like mindless brain nothingness, good writing.
See, I need mindless brain nothingness.
Julie Andrews is the voiceover of Lady Whistledown.
Is she?
Yes.
Are you sure?
1,000%.
Oh,
I know that for a fact.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'll try. I watched a couple of episodes of the one with the Queen.
Yeah, with Queen Charlotte.
Yeah. I watched that one.
It's really good.
It's real good.
I didn't love the second season, but I loved the first season and loved the third.
I'll try it. I'm more of a cooler months TV watcher.
That's fine. You can wait till the cooler months and watch it. And wait until you need something to binge and then binge it because it is
perfect.
I'll be honest. It's one of my favorite. I fought it for a long time and then I finally gave in and I was like, I get it now. But you can't watch it when your kids are around.
Oh,
that is a
little
problem.
Sexy time. Oh, okay.
A little is an understatement.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I expected that.
You don't.
Okay.
The first episode you're watching and you're like, what the fuck? You're like,
this is supposed to be proper.
I don't think I can do. Where do I look? I don't know. Like,
really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
There's some scenes. Even I was watching it like laying in bed because I wait till my kids go to bed and like Tex plays video games and I will watch my shows. And he came in one night and he was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "Bridgerton." And he was like, "Whoa!" I wouldn't have guessed. I mean, full nudity except for the
full frontal.
No full frontal, but the rest of it, and then the lots of acts that you're seeing, everything that's going down.
Oh,
like I mean, you're not seeing. It's not like obviously porn, but you're. I mean, there's you don't need. There's not a lot of.
Spit it out, Raina.
There's not a lot left to the imagination.
Okay,
let's be clear. But other than that, if you don't find that offensive, it is such a good show.
I'll try it. Okay, so it was also claimed that old Kate would steal booze from the neighbors.
That lush.
Get a little,
That's my kind of bitch.
I know.
That is my kind of bitch.
I mean,
if I was a ghostie, I'd be all stealing booze from the neighbors.
It's like the little Christmas. Leprechauns were said to do that.
Leprechauns were, but
the Yule lads.
Yeah, the sheep fanciers. We always go back to him, the sheep fancier.
He's got to be our little mascot, the sheep fancier. How are we gonna do that?
It was a good idea. I see your initial thought.
I heard it when I said it. I heard it.
You know that they say New Zealanders are sheep fanciers, so I don't know. We have Australians. That's almost close.
Oh, even I know that wasn't the good thing to say.
If you're not watching us, I shriveled down like, oh no, my husband's going to be big mad.
In Florida, my dad has a friend who's from New Zealand, and I was talking to her, and she said something, and I replied some way, and she goes, well, how did you know that? That's only something that people from down there know. I said, well, one of my really good friends is Australian, and she goes, oh, tell him rugby sucks.
Well, then we could rebuttal with he doesn't
talk.
Okay. We could rebuttal with he doesn't play rugby.
He plays the Australian football.
Footy, mate.
Okay. So there's a man named James who came to the house to try and help. And, well, remember James came to the house?
Yes.
Well, his son came, and his son was named John Johnson. And he created a test for the witch, something that no one outside of the family would know. He thought, I'm gonna ask a question. Nobody knows the answer but me.
Okay.
Let's see if she can answer it. His question to the witch was that his grandmother, who lived in North Carolina, would say something to their slaves, because remember, that was the time, if they thought that they had done something wrong. And the witch replied in the grandmother's accent, "Hut tut, what has happened now?" Which is exactly what the grandmother would say in the circumstance.
Damn.
So after that, an Englishman stopped by the Bell house, and he had been passing through and heard that the witch was there and decided to go investigate. The man talked about his family back in England, and the witch began to mimic his British parents. That night, the Englishman went to bed. He had stayed with the Bell family.
Uh-huh.
And he said in the morning that he was woken up by what he thought was his parents speaking to him next to the bed, but it was actually the witch.
Damn you, Kate Witch.
Yeah, right?
That's a little creepy.
Now, after he had left, he wrote the Bell family saying that he had got a letter from his family in England and said that they thought he had come home because they heard him speaking to them and waking them up one morning, and there was nobody there. So the witch was going back and forth.
She's a mimic.
Well, yeah.
Kind of.
If
you don't know what a mimic is, it's like we've talked about it before, but like those people, they like literally mimic your voice exactly, but they're real fucked up.
Well, and they're supposed to like mimic your look too.
Yeah, like real creepy.
Like you're not supposed to respond.
But
like if you hear some, like you're not supposed to respond.
Yeah, if you hear someone who like copies your voice, you're not, or a voice of someone that you know, right?
Yeah, but what if my kids are calling me from down the hall?
But then what if it's not?
Well, I'm screwed then because I'm gonna respond.
I think that I'm gonna just use that from now on when my kids are annoying me and I hear them yelling and be like, "Sorry, I can't respond in case you were a mimic."
I like it.
I feel like I
think that's a brilliant one.
Actually, I retract that statement because now my husband's going to use that against me. Sorry, babe, I couldn't hear you. I thought you were a mimic. Or I couldn't respond.
Perfect.
I don't like it.
Perfect.
Anyways, that's creepy though.
Yeah, that is real creepy. The witch was said to love John's wife, Lucy Bell, and the spirit would bring her fruit and sing hymns to her.
Okay.
However, as we kind of have gathered, the witch hated John Bell and referred to him as Old Jack and said that it intended to kill him.
Uh-oh.
And the witch claimed that she was going to curse John. The witch lived up to these promises, and John began to get very, very sick very, very quickly. He was getting sicker by the day, and looking back at some of his symptoms, you could think that it was like some sort of bone disease or ALS.
Uh-huh.
But he was getting some really weird symptoms, and he would go like paralyzed in his mouth and things like that. Yeah. A neighbor asked the witch why it was affecting John so much, and it responded that she hated John and wanted him to die. It asked if it would harm Betsy, and the witch replied, "No, why would I do that?" The neighbor asked why it meddled in Betsy's love life so much, and it responded that it was jealous, and the neighbor then said, "I have never known any man who loves a woman to act as such." The witch responded, "How do you know that I am a man?" The person said to the witch, "Well, you're certainly not a woman the way you cuss and yak and act like you're drunk. You act like a man." Raina, I would like a response.
Well, I must be a man then. Shit. I mean, yeah. I think I swear a little and I drink a little and I...
Do you yak?
Yak as in like talk a lot or throw up? Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I could talk to a wall if I had to, so
sure.
I could make a full conversation with a wall. You never know.
It's a skill.
It is a skill. It's a
skill.
life skill. I could talk to anybody.
I can't do that.
It's a blessing and a curse.
No.
Yeah.
I can make conversation, but if I don't want to, bye.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Adios.
if I don't
Bye.
want to, I don't either. But like in general, like if I'm in a social situation and I have like, and I'm like, okay, I gotta make conversation with someone. Like I'm solid. I can do it. I could talk to anybody, even if they don't give me like if it's just who I am.
I think I can, but it stresses me out.
Yeah, I can just. I just am. Just talk, ask questions, blah, 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 blah.
I'd rather be home in my bed.
You know, I used to not be like that, but now I feel like that's how I am. I'd rather be home in my bed, too.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. What do you want to do tonight? Can I be in my pajamas?
I just want to be in my bed. Bras off time. Yeah.
Always. The next day, John was struck by unbearable pain and his throat started to swell. His neighbors at that point were trying to get him to leave the farm. So after John was struck out of the chair, everybody could hear a voice saying, "If you think you can avoid me, try your best to hide from me, and I can give you more tomorrow. We can try and prove if a man can escape me." I like this witch.
I mean, I really like her, too.
I
Between her and...
Power to you.
And what, is it Kate Bell? Was that her name?
Well, Kate Bell was said to send this.
Yeah, and that's
witch.
why, but the witch likes to be called Kate, too.
Yeah.
Right, so both. Yeah. Between the sitting on the man...
Oh, my gosh.
Bring me closer to Jesus. Or him closer to Jesus, I guess. Like her, and then this witch... I like them.
You know what? It's like Hannah Crana.
I know.
You know, they were a menace at the time, but then you look at it now and it's like, I get it.
I feel like that's a lot about women from a long ago who were menaces to society, and it's like, no, they were right.
They were just done.
Yeah.
They were just fed up.
Yep. I am confident in a past life I was a witch who was a menace.
To society.
I just really maybe I was Kate Bell. Who knows? Maybe I fucked shit up.
Were you burned at the stake?
I don't know, but could have been. Was she?
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, we don't know. We truly don't know who this spirit is.
Right.
It's not the spirit of Kate, so.
Tis a demon.
Tis a demon. A daemon. I don't know. The witch was also taunting the slaves on the farm and various farms. They were taking action and making items to try and ward off the spirits, making witch balls to carry around to try to keep the evil away. So they were actually like acknowledging and like trying to avoid this, which smart.
Well, yeah.
Hello.
I mean, especially if she was going to be mean, you don't.
Well, not like, hey, does anybody else want to come and talk to the witch?
Yeah, right?
Like,
no. I mean, maybe I would have talked to her. I don't know.
Oh, I would have. You know, you and I would have had a little slumber party.
Let's go.
Like,
except
come on.
then if she started mimicking people, I'd be like, okay, get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
No, we'd be like taking notes.
She'd come in with an Australian accent for us and be like,
what do I need to do to get ahead in this life, Kate?
Yeah.
Come on, Kate.
Tell us. Give us all the deets.
Give us the details. Because you can obviously see and hear other conversations that are going on.
True.
So
what do we need to do?
Let me know. I think we'd be great friends.
I think so too.
Great friends. A neighbor of the Bell family, heard the witch talking one night and saw her as an apparition. He got angry and grabbed the witch, holding on. So he said he could physically touch and grab the witch. He was holding on to her, trying to throw her into the fire. However, the witch began being extremely heavy and having an awful smell, which led the neighbor to release the entity. And it went away. She smelled real bad. So I just had to let go.
I mean, these are the parts that make me question things because I'm like, you could hold her. And then she disappeared.
She's got real heavy. I mean, story of my life.
Were there any drugs in the woods where they were? Maybe some magic mushrooms? Yeah, did you know that's where I was going?
Yeah.
Some of the devil's lettuce happening over there.
They picked the wrong crop that day.
They must have.
There's another theory that the Bell Witch came from a cave on the property called the Bell Cave. Have you heard of the Bell Cave?
No.
Like it's fairly well known.
Well, then maybe I have a glazed donut for a brain because nope, never heard of it.
On the Bell property is a deep cave, and it's said that when Betsy was younger, and she and her friends were playing in the cave, one of her friends crawled into a small area and got stuck. Mm-hmm. And it's there's different stories that go along with it, but some say they just got stuck. Some say it caved in. So that's what got the kids stuck. The children started to panic, and then they heard a voice say, "I'll get him out." And invisible hands pulled the boy free. And when he got out, he said, I felt hands around my ankles. I was pulled out and then I was fine.
Okay.
Betsy was very grateful and thanked, she didn't know it was a witch at the time. She thanked whatever entity she heard.
Yeah.
And it is said that maybe that's why the witch kind of liked Betsy at that point, because it made a connection with her.
Okay. Well.
And maybe that was when the entity was officially set loose, and then Kate got hold of the entity and sent it, or maybe the entity had nothing to do with Kate at all and just really liked how she rolled.
I mean, I like that idea.
I like Kate
because I feel like that's it. She's like, this bitch knows what's up. I'm gonna just pretend to be her and fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's ahead of her time.
She really is.
Maybe she was from our time and went back to that time.
Time traveler.
Time traveler.
Ooh. Never know. Time traveling witch.
I like time travel.
That could be like one of those movies like Sharknado. Time traveling witch.
Time traveling witch. Oh, there's an idea. We could make millions.
Write a book, Meg. Write a book.
I'm
the time
on it.
traveling witch.
I'm on it. Oh my gosh. This is great. It's going to be amazing. Amazing. So after this, the witch was like kind of when the witch came around, it kind of liked Betsy over John, like we've heard.
Yeah.
So that could be the reason. By this point, the family was desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're desperate. John's getting sick. This thing is tormenting them. They called a necromancer.
Oh, dear.
Named Dr. Solomon Mize. You know what a necromancer is?
Talks or like tries to bring people back from the dead.
I think so. I think there's more to it than that, but that's kind of the gist. When you hear it, that's what
like,
you think.
Yeah, that's like the base.
Yeah. So he was said to be a bearded little fat man with theatrics.
Oh, do you think that maybe a necromancer also at the time was like a medium? Like where they
probably
could talk to the dead, like bring them back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something to do with the dead.
Yeah, like maybe like it's not what we would necessarily call a necromancer. I mean, I guess continue with the story because I don't know where you're going with this.
It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't wait.
Buckle up.
Okay,
hold on to your butts.
Okay. Holding.
So Dr. Mize referred to himself as a wizard.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz?
Kind of.
Oh my God, that's the time traveling witch. It could be like from Wicked kind of vibes. Anyways, continue. Go.
I've never seen Wicked.
Wait, we're not even going there. I can't with you.
So he brought a small wooden windmill that was said to spin when the witch would come by, and a special liquid that would turn colors when it came by. This, of course, was all bullshit. But
okay.
He's, he's trying to make a living. Oh. The witch was silent for 3 days.
Oh, she was like, fuck you, Mr. Wizard Man. I like it.
Dr. Mize said that he was so powerful that he intimidated the Bell Witch.
Uh-oh. Why do I have a feeling this isn't going to go well for him?
Dr. Mize took a shotgun from the Bell family that no longer worked, and he said that it didn't work anymore because it was hexed. So he cleaned it and fixed it until it worked, and he said that it only worked now because he removed the hex.
That sounds suspicious.
Real charmer. The 4th day that he was at the house, the witch made herself known. It appeared behind the wizard and said, "Boo."
I love how she rolls. I'm just saying. Really a fan.
The wizard jumped off the ground, scared. It's like a cartoon character.
And that's what he sounds like.
Kate the witch got a real kick out of this and then started taunting him. She called him a piece of dog shit and compared him to an uncooked sausage.
Sorry.
Uncooked sausage.
Which I like because, a cooked sausage it'll be firm and shriveled. This is like, think about, it's like a limp.
Wait, the hand movement.
Like a flaccid sausage, if you would. A flaccid sausage.
Like the dick in the box.
Like Richard. His name is Richard.
I forget.
You forgot we named the dick Richard?
So many little friends over here now.
Richard.
Alan.
Lester.
Where's
He's missing.
Lester?
Lester's, I think, under our chair. He took a tumble. Lester took a tumble. For those of you who don't know, it's our dick in a box from one of our other witch episodes when they would put dicks in the box.
Connecticut witch trials?
Yeah, they would put men's penises in a box, supposedly. They would take them. Anyways.
And feed them oats and corn.
Yes. So I made Meg a dick in a box and we named him Richard. Appropriately.
Obviously. Okay. The witch then went on to say how much Mize sucked and how many others were better than him. She was ruthless, man. She was ruthless. I mean, this guy obviously had little dog syndrome, and she just,
Like,
she was ruthless.
dog shit and an uncooked sausage.
She also called him a rotten heap of donkey meat.
I love her.
I mean, really, what's not to love?
I mean, he obviously had small man syndrome. She's just going to put him in his place.
Mm-hmm. The witch continued to taunt and insult the wizard all night long, and as Dr. Mize was leaving, the next morning he got on his horse and was ready to go. The horse would not move.
Uh-oh.
He could not get the horse to move, and he was getting frustrated. And then a voice out of nowhere said, "Do you need help, oh honorable doctor? Let me give your horse a slap and send you quickly on your way, and maybe I will come along with you." And then the horse took off running.
Oh my! So this is what when you say something like that, it's like the Truman Show, where like the voice comes in and he's like talking. It's like, is that what it was? Was she like God who came in and is
just this unseen person?
Yeah, with this voice that's booming out. Yeah, I'm gonna slap your horse and send you on its way.
Kaboom.
You heaping pile of what is it?
Donkey meat.
Donkey meat. You uncooked sausage.
Uncooked sausage.
I don't know. That might be my favorite thing to call anybody is an uncooked sausage.
Uncooked sausage. Don't call sausage an uncooked sausage.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Sausage, you are fully cooked. That also means that you're very drunk in Australia, so I think.
Oh.
Or fucked up. I don't know. Anyways, yeah.
Anywho's. Andrew Jackson visited the Bell farm to experience the witch, and he brought 7 of his friends with him. Jackson and his friends were going to the farm, and when they got there, they approached with their horses, but the horses stopped, not letting them move. Mm-hmm. Jackson laughed, saying the witch had already started her magic, and the witch then released the horses and said loudly that she appreciated the acknowledgement and would speak to them later that evening.
Oh, she was polite.
I think she just wants acknowledgement and not to be mocked.
Not to be mocked.
Yeah.
I mean, fair. Otherwise, she will put you in your place.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So that evening, they all sat around talking about the witch, and one of the companions was bragging about how he could ward off spirits. He's playing with fire.
That's bad news. I feel like it's
Sir.
bad news.
The man took out a dead cat's tail from his coat and put it over his face, saying it would warn him when the witch was near.
Ew.
She responded.
Uh-oh.
She says, "General, I am here as promised and ready for this business. And that business would be this meeting. With that tail up against your nose, your pocket mouse looks like a cat's ass. I thought it was supposed to warn you when I was near. I have been standing behind you for the past hour."
She just keeps getting better.
She does. Like, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't poison somebody like Mr. John Bell, but other than that,
I don't know. Mr. John Bell wasn't a very good guy, it sounds like. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's true.
I'm just saying.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Maybe he was already sick.
Maybe he was. And maybe she had nothing to do with it.
Maybe she did. She's just playing.
Or maybe she fucked with him because he fucked with everybody else. I'm just saying. You never know.
You never know what happens behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm. You don't know.
Mm-hmm. At this point, the front door swung open and the guy ran out while everyone in the house laughed at him.
Well, it looked like a cat's ass. So
yeah, apparently. That evening, John had a massive seizure, and he ended up in bed for 2 months, dying painfully.
Ew.
A doctor came to the house and couldn't diagnose what was happening with John, so he went into the kitchen to look around and found a black potion. The witch then appeared to the doctor and said that she had been slowly poisoning John. Naturally, the doctor fed the potion to the cat to see what would happen, and the cat immediately died.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Then the doctor said there was nothing he could do. So they bring a doctor to the house. He poisons the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "I can't do anything for you," and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And probably charges them a butt ton of money.
I mean, most likely.
Most likely. Because John died later that night.
Oh, shit. Well, damn you, doctor.
During his funeral, mourners were singing, and the witch interrupted them. She said that she didn't want them singing for that poor sorry sap, and Like, literally couldn't let him even go peacefully.
She just really didn't like him.
She really didn't like him.
Wow.
Which makes me think there's something to the story that we don't know that John did to her at some point.
And that's what I'm saying. There's something else going on. Because for her to have this vendetta against him to this.
Just him. I mean, yeah, she screwed with people who came to the house, but.
No, but she was like big mad at him.
Big mad.
Suspicious.
After John died, the witch said that she would be going away and not be seen or heard for a long time. And in the spring, Betsy Bell took the witch's advice and married the older teacher.
Okay. Well,
She was said to be happy the rest of her life.
good for her.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the witch appeared 7 years later after John Bell's death. It was scratching at the walls and removed the sheets from the beds in the home, but the Bells were done and decided not to engage with the witch, and after 2 weeks it left. Some people think that after the whole experience, Kate the Bell Witch fled the Bell family, returning to the cave where she still resides to this day.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, there are some theories that say it was actually Betsy that was behind all of this.
How?
They're saying that maybe she was the one who made it all happen, did the scratching, made her dad sick, all this stuff.
But I don't understand how, one, there supposedly was this physical entity. How did she manifest that?
And unless she could throw her voice.
Yeah, and, like, that's what I'm saying.
Wait. But we know the Fox sisters could crack. Wait.
No, no, absolutely not. No, Megan, no. Get your dog down. Put your dog down. Just
Stop talking.
ew. No. Blech.
So that's what the Fox sisters could do with their ankles.
Well, but this supposedly
That was my ankle, by the way.
this was a lot more than just a.
This was a lot more than a pop.
This was a voice like God coming out of nowhere. This was a physical entity.
Yep.
I mean, having the mouth of a sailor.
There's no record of that.
Probably not.
So there's a story that the Bell boys found a grave and dug it up and took the bones from this, and that could have been the spirit. It's also important to note that a lot of this information came from the author M.V. Ingram, who wrote the book that we talked about earlier, An Authenticated History of the Bell Witch. So in the book, Ingram claims that he gathered documents and journals of the town and the Bell family and those who had involvement in the story, and he pieced the story together. But
okay, so there could be a little flavor sprinkled in.
Sprinkled
in.
Some
spice in there. I don't know. I want to take it at face value because it's too good not to be true.
Yeah, and it's apparent that there was some sort of haunting.
Yes.
Because there are multiple sources, but the records from the Bell Witch, it's flavor.
It's flavor.
There could be some flavor.
Of all of the things, I would like to think that the one true part is that she called him an uncooked sausage. Of all of the things, that is what I really hope was accurate.
Also, Kate Batts, MVP, sitting on a man in church so that he could get closer to Jesus.
I'll never get over that. I was unprepared for that. That was so good.
There are multiple stories and movies that are inspired by the Bell Witch story. There's TV shows like Cursed the Bell Witch, but there's also a movie from 2013 called The Bell Witch Haunting. And according to Ben Rock, a production designer, the Blair Witch Project was loosely based off of the Bell Witch story. I've never seen it, so I couldn't.
I was going to say, I have seen the Blair Witch Project. It terrified the shit out of me because it was like the first of its kind like that. Do you like how it was filmed?
Yeah, because it was said to be... when it came out, I remember they were saying, no, this is a documentary.
Right, and it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, because they were in the woods. And I just remember with the light underneath.
But I don't recall anybody being called an uncooked sausage.
I mean, they really missed the mark.
They really did. If you're gonna put it off of it, you better get the best parts.
Get the best parts.
Because that is the best parts.
Yeah, maybe we should watch it.
Okay. I remember it terrified me. Because it is just like a documentary, and you don't ever actually see anything. It's just as like scary.
It's the suspense.
That's
what it draws off of is all the suspense.
And but was it a documentary, or did it? It's not actually. I can't remember.
Well, it was played off as a documentary, like that it was real, but it wasn't. It was a production.
Yeah, it was a production. Okay, it's
like mockumentary.
It's like Paranormal Activity, which is a movie, but it looks like it's all on security cameras.
When the Blair Witch came out, they said it was real.
That's
That's what it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but also, like, I mean, I haven't seen it for a very long time, so I don't think you actually saw anything that was even actually scary. I think it just, like, made you believe that it was scary. Again,
like it.
Until they call someone an uncooked sausage, I'm not in.
Nope.
I am not in.
Nope.
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
But sure, we could watch Blair Witch Project.
Cool. I like it.
I'd do it.
So yeah, that's the Bell Witch.
Dang.
It's a good one.
I mean, I really like her.
I do too.
I really like her. I'm sorry. That's one of my favorites.
Kindred spirits, if you will.
Yeah.
Bosom buddies.
Bosom buddies.
It's from Anna Green Gables.
Oh.
She and her friend Diana were bosom buddies.
What does that mean? Like booby buddies?
No, just like your heart.
Oh,
Jeez,
I thought you.
freaking mind out
I
of
thought
the
your bosoms
gutter.
are your tatas.
Well, but you're in your bosom, in your chesticle region, in your heart.
Okay. I just thought it was mean like we're titty buddies. Best friends. Titty slap.
Oh.
Well, dang.
Yeah, well, if you've had, some sort of encounter with the Bell Witch or any witch or a spirit or a demon, let us know.
Let us know. We'd like to hear.
We want to hear it at lunaticsouppodcast@gmail.com.
Or you know where to find us on all of the socials. Lunatic Soup Podcast.
All the
on
things.
Everything, or you could watch us on the YouTubes.
On the
You can see our
YouTubes.
beautimous faces
Beautiful.
and see good old Richard chilling back here.
Yeah. And hopefully we
Richard.
saw you at the Tacoma Haunted Farmers Market.
I mean, this is
That
airing
was
like,
in the future, but we're in the past, so
but
we're
it's airing
time traveling.
before it, but then it'll be out during it.
It's fine.
It's what it is. But yeah, either way, but excited to share those stories with everybody.
Yeah, we're
'Cause we
excited
got
to see
some-
what stories we have. We have a bunch of people signed up already, so we'll get some good stories.
I'm excited to hear.
I'm really
I
excited.
hope one of them is someone's ghost calling someone
An uncooked sausage.
or something along those lines. Because if there's not, I'm going to be disappointed.
A flaming heap of dog shit,
Yeah, or a
rancid donkey meat. Was that another one?
something around there.
Something like that.
Favorite thing to say. All right, well, get yourself some lunatic soup.
And remember, in this crazy world,
It's good to be a lunatic.
bye.
Bye.